Hello. Thank you all. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is our final session in the Business Basics webinar series. I mean, I can't believe the time has certainly flown by. It's been 5 weeks already. Who knew? But this webinar series is made possible by the Big Up Small Business Project, which aims to create new opportunities for small, micro, and medium entrepreneurs in Jamaica to benefit from tourism. And the Big Up Small Business Project is a joint initiative of TUI Care Foundation and the Travel Foundation. I'm Coral Williams, and I'm the Jamaica Program Coordinator for the Travel Foundation. Hosting the session with me today as well is my colleague, Rebecca Armstrong. Rebecca is the Sustainable Tourism Specialist at the Travel Foundation based in our office in Bristol. And together we are responsible for implementing the activities under the Big Up Small Business Project. Next slide. So this webinar series is, This webinar series started on October 6th, I think, and it's culminating today. That's part of our capacity building support under the Big Up Small Business Project. And the webinar series itself is being brought to you by the Travel Foundation in partnership with TPDCO. So in the last 4 webinars, we looked at how to structure your business and basic bookkeeping skills. We also looked at how to write a business plan. We looked at how to prepare to access funding. And last week, we looked at how to future-proof your business to make it more sustainable. And today, we are wrapping up the webinar series with a training on digital marketing. So you're going to get some practical tips today on how to promote your tourism business and maximize your marketing through your website, through SEO, social media, third-party sites, and virtual experiences. Rebecca had already sent out an email, which you should have received by now, with a link to download the digital marketing ebook that accompanies this training. So if you didn't receive that, please feel free to just shoot us an email and let us know and we'll resend it. By now, you should also have received the link to download the manuals and the Zoom recordings for all the previous training sessions that you attended. Again, if you didn't receive that, let us know and we'll remedy that. So Rebecca is now going to introduce you to our presenters for today, and she'll also explain a few housekeeping matters before we start the presentation.
Great, thank you, Coral. Hello, everybody. It's great to see so many of you here again today. Thank you for joining us for this final session, as Coral said. We're really pleased today to welcome Voyage Travel Marketing to present to us today on digital marketing. They're really good friends of ours at the Travel Foundation. We've worked with them on, well, they've worked with us on helping to spread stories around sustainable tourism. And yeah, we're really pleased to have them here today to share their expertise on digital marketing. We have Jessica, who's the managing director, who set up the company a number of years ago, having worked with over 20 years of experience, having worked with a wide range of companies, starting with Visit Florida, Visit Tampa Bay, also Marriott International, and since setting up the company, she's worked with many UK tourism brands as well, destinations and attractions, etc. And she has specialties in social media, digital, e-commerce, PR, creative, brand development, and hotel business consulting. And we're also delighted to have Tom with us, who's head of marketing, who also has a wealth of marketing experience in hospitality industries. He's headed up the marketing team for leading London hotels and one of the UK's foremost specialist travel companies. So we're in great hands today. Tom has a special focus on performance analytics and reporting as well. So between the two of them, they've got a great deal of experience and practical tips, I think, as well. When we've worked with them before, that's what we've really appreciated. They're able to offer you great tips to implement and take away for your businesses. So while Tom and Jessica are presenting, please do use the question and answer session, question and answer box to put your questions in, and they will pause at a couple of points in the presentation to take those questions. So Coral and I will monitor those questions. So please, as things spring to mind, put them in there, and then we'll stop, as I say, to take those questions at various points. So great, I will hand over to you, Tom. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. So I will share my screen. Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen, the cover slide, digital marketing?
Yes,
Excellent.
we can now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure for Jessica and myself to be here. We're great fans of the Big Up Small Business initiative, and it's a real joy for us to help be a part of it. And today we're going to be presenting on digital marketing, specifically 5 topics, and they are website, SEO or search engine optimization, social media, third-party websites, and virtual experiences. And there'll be, I'll be pausing at the end of each of those 5 topic segments to invite questions at that point. So please, yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be pausing at the end of each section to invite those and try and answer those as best we can. So, starting off with website marketing. Now, your website is really your key, your very best marketing tool, and it's where all of your marketing efforts should link to. So it should be your kind of main landing point for all of your marketing efforts. And the way we describe it is that your website should reflect the 4 essential elements that you need to promote your business. And those 4 essential elements are, the first one, great, very strong and clear calls to action. Now, whether that your main objective is to get people to book with you or to call you or to find your contact details, whatever your main objective may be, you should really be making that as easy as possible for your website users. So nice and clear, prominent buttons. The example that we've got here, you can see those nice, clear learn more and book online buttons. So it's all about making it as easy as possible, and ideally with a single click for your website visitors to achieve that objective that you want from them. The second essential element is great imagery. Now, this may seem an obvious one, but it's simple things like making sure all of your images are nice and sharp and in focus and not badly cropped. So one easy thing that you can do is try and make sure that all of the images on your site are at least 500 KB in size and that they're all nicely cropped. And remembering, and I'll come on to this later, to check across devices as well that images aren't badly cropped, whether that's on mobile, desktop, tablet. Another thing you can do to really elevate your photography is consider a professional photo shoot. Obviously, you need to prepare for this, prepare a brief, but it is something that can really elevate the imagery on your site and help give your site stand out over and above your competitors. Another thing you can do is take advantage of free imagery or free content. So whether that is images of your business that you may find on social media, or even if you might see someone who's visiting your business, whether that's your attraction or experience or shop or whatever it might be, if you can see that they are there taking photographs and they look like they know what they're doing, like they're taking lots of nice looking photos, then you can ask your customers if it's okay for you to use their images. And likewise, if you find those images on social media, you can send them a message to ask for their permission to use their images. And it's a great way of having very authentic imagery on your site. Obviously, it's from the perspective of a real customer, and it's what we call UGC, or user-generated content. And it can work really well, whether it's on your website or even also on your social media. And obviously, the best thing about it is it's free. And there's a couple of helpful resources here, a couple of websites, places where you can find free imagery, free stock imagery as well. And you'll all get a copy of this presentation afterwards. So the links will be in there for you to make use of. The third essential element is to make sure you have a very strong and clear brand identity. So make sure your website is very clear. Don't assume that customers will know what it is that you do or what it is that you offer. Try and present all of the key and important information as clearly as possible. Consider what your unique selling points are, what's different about you compared with your competitors. Why should they choose you over your competition? And at the same time, try and give your brand a voice. So try and use language on your website that's appropriate to your brand. So the example here, if you're a warm and welcoming family-run business, then try and have this come across in the tone of voice that you use in the copy on your website. And the little example that I've shown here, Bunkers Hill Cultural Experience and River Tour, they do a really great job on their website, making it nice and clear what it is that they do, nice and clear about their story, who they are. It gives it a really nice personal feel, and they've got a really strong brand there. You know, they've got a very nice logo that they've obviously had designed. And there's places, you know, there are free tools available to you. And there's an example here that we've shared. And again, you'll get a copy of this presentation where you can go to get free templates to help you create things like great looking logos, to help elevate your website and get that strong brand identity element. And the fourth and final essential element is reviews and testimonials. Now, these are a really kind of strong asset that you can use to your advantage. So the first thing to do is to make sure that you register and kind of take control of your business listings on those review sites. So the two key ones really are TripAdvisor and Google. So make sure that you're registered on there if you're not already. And actually in this presentation, I'll be covering those two platforms in more detail on how you do that if you haven't already. Also, obviously, try and encourage reviews from your visitors, from the customers to your business. So anyone who, you know, on their way out is saying to you what a wonderful experience they've had, always take the time to ask and, you know, say thank you so much. We're delighted you've had a great time with us. Please remember to leave a review for us on TripAdvisor or Google or Facebook. And you can make it easy for them by TripAdvisor, for example, offers free little cards that you can have printed that have a direct link to your TripAdvisor listing. So you can give one of those cards to your customers on their way out. And it's a nice little reminder and makes it easy for them to remember to go ahead and give you that review. Likewise, another thing you can do is send an email. If you capture emails from your customers, you can send them an email after their visit to try and encourage that review. And importantly, you know, with regard to your website, remember to display these reviews on your website. So you can cherry pick some of the best and most recent reviews and display them on your website. And it gives that really nice kind of validation to anyone visiting your site. It'll give them that extra bit of confidence to go ahead and book with you, because they'll see authentic reviews from other people just like them that have experienced your great attraction, and it'll give them that confidence to go ahead and book with you. And some other little things to remember with regard to your website. So do try and keep it nice and tidy. For lots of your customers, your website will be your first touch point. So, you know, it's that first impressions are so important, and a little like the shop front of your business or your attraction, try and keep it nice and clean and tidy and looking its best. Another thing to remember is to try and update the content as regularly as possible. So try and keep that content on your website fresh. Any new and important information, make sure it's updated You know, there's nothing worse than when people visit a website and it's maybe got information on there that's out of date. For example, your opening hours, you know, if they're changing over the upcoming holidays, always be sure to remember to update that on your website. And the last one here, crucially, be sure to test your site across all devices, you know, especially after any updates that you make. So don't assume that just because your website might display really nicely on desktop, that it would necessarily be displaying correctly on mobile or tablet. You know, images can be cropped even on websites that are responsive. Sometimes web images can still be badly cropped, or maybe one of your titles is not showing all on the screen. So just be sure to test across all devices just to be safe. And the last thing here is you can consider what are called FAQs, which are frequently asked questions. So if you're finding that you're getting lots of phone calls or emails with people asking the same questions before they go ahead and book with you, then you can kind of preempt that by providing nice, helpful answers to those frequently asked questions on your website. And again, it's just a way of kind of building that confidence with your website users for them to go ahead and book. If you provide answers to those frequently asked questions, they won't need to make that phone call to you. They'll find the answer they're looking for and then go ahead and book without needing to get in touch beforehand. And kind of similar to FAQs, or slightly more advanced version, is lots of websites now offer live chat functionality. So that's a piece of functionality which allows a user to send you a quick question, and then in real time you can answer it. You can even set up ready-made answers to frequently asked questions on live chat as well. So that's a great little tool. It does need obviously someone to manage it, so it's worth considering how that's going to work with your business, but that can be an effective tool as well for your website. And it's all about, as I've repeated a few times, just adding in things that can create confidence for your user to go ahead and book, because that's the main objective, you know. So it's just providing little helpful tools that answer those questions and help them go ahead with you. So that's website marketing and the 4 essential elements. Does anyone have any questions at this stage? That's our first topic, website marketing.
Trevor, if you have questions, just post them in the Q&A.
Okay, and you can always ask questions on this topic at the end of the presentation as well, of course, but I'll move on. So our next topic is search engine optimization, often known as SEO. This one's a little bit more complicated, but actually, you know, I think it's not as complex as it may first seem. And it's certainly not as daunting as it may seem. And hopefully today I'm going to share a few easy, quick wins that can help you make forward steps in this area. So search engine optimization is the practice of enhancing your website's content, both visible and not visible, with the aim of making your website appear higher up the results pages of search engines. For example, Google and Bing. So it's essentially making your website more searchable and more easy to find for people searching online. And here you are, SEO helps customers find your business. So some of the tips and tricks that you can do to improve the SEO of your website. The first one, and this was one of the points raised before with regard to your website, is to update your content regularly. So Google and all other search engines are constantly scanning the content on websites, and they recognize if and when the content on your website is updated. And if and when it is, you effectively are given kind of positive points, and you will be moved up the ranking, because search engines want to present websites that have fresh, new, recent content. So that's an easy trick. Always make sure to update with any new information, update your latest offers, latest products. And one good trick can be to have blogs on your website. These are a nice way of sharing latest news, and they can be kind of topical and seasonal. And they're a very common way of basically introducing fresh, regular content to your website that work towards improving your SEO score. Another thing that you should be doing to improve your SEO, and this again was mentioned previously as part of the website, is to test your website across all devices. Now, the reason for this is Google and other search engines do actually penalize websites that don't display well across all devices. So Google particularly will penalize a website if it doesn't display well on mobile, and also if the content does not load quickly enough. So as well as testing to make sure that your content displays well across all devices, try and make sure that the pages are loading and with a good speed and aren't taking too long and aren't too clunky, because again, Google and all other search engines, they don't like to present websites that are slow to load or that may not display correctly across all devices. So they penalize those websites and push you down the rankings. And another thing that you can do is to make sure to claim and register your Google My Business listing. And I've got a slide on exactly how to do this later on. It's free. It takes a couple of minutes. It's very easy. But by doing that, Google you're essentially kind of registering yourself and your website with Google to make it even easier for Google to recognize your website and therefore to rank it and help push it up the rankings. And also it's tied together with those Google reviews. So the more reviews on Google that you can encourage, Google recognizes that activity. And again, that all earns positive points for your website and will help push you up the ranking, because you're effectively telling Google that you're a trusted business, you've had recent customers, and it means that they will give your website more positive points and push it up that ranking. A couple of other things that you can do that will help work towards your SEO score are to try and create and drive what are called, inbound links. So these are links into your website from other third-party websites. They need to try and be credible websites and obviously relevant websites. But if you can work with other, partner businesses or for example, any bloggers or influencers who may come and visit your attraction, by those bloggers and influencers or other third parties, by them having a link to your website, Google and other search engines recognize that the people coming into your website are coming from different places, and it effectively gives kind of verification to your website in Google's eyes. And again, they will score you positively for that, and it all contributes to pushing you up that listing. And another easy win that you can do is to create a listing with Yext.com. Yext.com is a Google My Business partner, and it's a free site where you can effectively register your business. It takes a few minutes just to kind of input simple information, who you are, where you're located, that kind of thing. And then Yext shares your business information across multiple online directories. So it kind of does two things. First of all, it creates more opportunities for users to find your business, but also you're creating more of those inbound links, more different routes into your website. And the more of those that you have, Google registers, it picks up on all of those, and it gives you, you know, positive points towards your SEO, and it all contributes towards your SEO ranking. And it's worth kind of mentioning all of these things kind of work together. There's no, you know, no one is necessarily more important than another. It's about trying to do a little bit of each of them as much as possible, because they all contribute. Google doesn't reveal, you know, there are no kind of fixed points for any one activity, but we do know Google has said all of these things do contribute towards your search engine optimization. So another thing that you can do, this one takes maybe perhaps a little bit more time, but it, you know, you can start small and work through it, is to try and incorporate keywords and phrases into the copy and content on your website. So I mentioned before that Google sends out, they're known as little crawlers. They send out to effectively read the content across all the websites that are out there on the internet. And the first things that these little crawlers do when they reach your website is they read the titles and headers on each page to help Google understand what is this website content about, and when and where should we present it in search results. So you can make it easier for Google to be able to read and interpret your website by attributing nice and clear headers and titles to all of the pages across your website. So that's a really easy one to do in the first instance, just making sure that your website has a clear header and title on each page. And you should see in the CMS, in the content management system for your website, if it's yourself that manages it, that the headers and titles actually have a different kind of font setting to the regular copy. You actually you highlight the title and you select the title text in the CMS. And that then tells Google that's the title of your page and helps Google understand the content. And then a little bit further in than that, something that you can do is trying to incorporate those keywords and phrases into the content of each of the pages on your website. And a way that you can do that, a way that you can work out, because often the question is, you know, which keywords and phrases should I include? And an easier way of working that out is to try and write down 3 to 5 topics that are most important to your business. So if you were to describe your business in just a couple of sentences, what are some of the kind of most important words? And the example that we've got here, this was based on a waterfall guided tour attraction in Jamaica. So some of those most important keywords might be waterfall, guided tours, nature. And then what you do once you've got those 3 to 5 key topics is try and use those to create a list of 5 to 10 keywords and phrases within each of those topics. So for example, within waterfall, it could be Jamaica's tallest waterfall, or waterfall trek, or waterfall experience. And then these are your little phrases that you can try and weave into the content on your website. But one thing it is important to be aware of is that you can't simply stuff these keywords anywhere and everywhere across your website. You may remember when people were first experimenting with search engine optimization, you saw web pages where people had the same kind of keyword tens of times at the bottom of the page. You can't do that anymore, because actually Google and other search engines penalize websites that are seen to be what's known as keyword stuffing. So these keywords and phrases that you come up with, you do still need to try and use them authentically, you know, as part of the content on your website. But that's easier said, easier done than you might think. And one easy place that you can be sure to include them is in those titles and headers. So for this business, for example, they should be using Jamaica's tallest waterfall somewhere in one of their titles and headers on a page, because then it's making it as easy as possible for Google to see that, to pick that up, and to understand that's what they offer. And then when someone searches tallest waterfall in Jamaica, Google will know to present that website at the top of its listings. So another thing that you can do to help work towards the SEO score of your website is try and think in terms of how customers may be searching for your business online. So a simple way to do this is to jump online yourself, go onto Google or another search engine, and try entering a few searches that you think your customers may search when looking for your business, and then see where you appear, where your website ranks, and also importantly see who appears at the top, which of your competitors appear up there. If they're coming up higher than you, then have a look at their website, see what they might be doing that might be different to your website, see what content they've got on there that means that their site is appearing above yours. And another trick, this one's nice and easy, and Google has provided this to try and help people improve the searchability of their website, is you can go onto, it's called Google Trends. It's absolutely free, and it's a Google-owned website, and it shows you the most popular search terms for different topics. So you can go on there and you can see exactly what search terms people are entering, and you can even filter down based on location as well as topics. So you can see the search terms they're entering for businesses like yours, and then that will help guide the keywords and phrases as well that you use on your website, because Google Trends will show you these are the search terms people are entering, and that tells you, okay, I need to make sure that those keywords and search terms are weaved into the content on my website, because that will mean when people enter those search terms, Google will pick up that your website is very relevant to those search terms, and it will then present your website near to the top of those listings, because Google is always working to try and present the most relevant website based on the search term that someone has entered. Now, a little more complex, but again, easy if you just do it one thing at a time, that you can do here to work towards your SEO, is to add a meta description for each of the pages on your website. Now, a meta description is not visible on the outside or kind of customer facing website. It's actually a hidden bit of writing that only Google and other search engines pick up. So you'll find the meta description field in the content management system of your website. So if you go into your website CMS, then on each page within your website, you will see a field that's labeled meta description. So that's where you can enter a description, and it's only a short description, 1 to 2 sentences long, that effectively describes what that page of content is. So it's a way of telling Google and other search engines what this page is, and Google and other search engines actually look at the meta description for a page before they look at the content of the page. So it's a kind of quick win way of telling Google and other search engines what this page is about, so that Google and other search engines then know when it's relevant to present it for search terms. So it's one that you should definitely be doing if you can make time for it. And it's quick and easy, 1 to 2 sentences. Start with the most important pages first, on your website. So your homepage, you know, your About Us page, your contact page, make sure you add a meta description for each of those. And they do actually sometimes display on Google and other search engines. And this is to help people searching on Google and other search engines, to help them as well understand what that page is about. So when you make a search on Google and the listings that you get presented, that little 1 to 2 sentence description beneath the link, the listing link, that is the meta description that Google has picked up. Google has kind of registered it. That's the reason it's presented the website based on the search term. And it also presents it as a little helpful, handy way of telling the person searching, this is the content that you'll find on here. So again, by having those meta descriptions, you'll help encourage clicks as well as help your website to display in the first place on Google and whichever other search engine it might be. So that's search engine optimization. Hopefully there's a few little quick wins there that you can do to help improve the searchability of your website, help make it more easy to find for people searching for what it is that you offer. But does anyone have any questions on that topic?
Clear.
Okay. Again, no problem, you know, if you want to ask questions at the end, or even, you know, if you want to send over questions by email, then I'm sure we can help answer them that way as well. I appreciate sometimes it's hard to think of the question on the spot, and perhaps also a bit daunting asking it on the presentation. So we'll move on to the next topic. In fact, actually, sorry, before we get on to the next topic, I've added this in here because I wanted to share this. If you aren't already, a great tool for measuring the performance and effectiveness of your website and of those, you know, the different bits and pieces that you're doing to work towards your SEO score. The best tool for measuring the performance of both of those is Google Analytics. Now, again, you know, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I know it may seem a bit daunting or technical, but I promise you it isn't. Google has worked really hard in recent years to make it much more user-friendly, and it really is built now for absolutely anyone and everyone to have a go and jump in there and make use of it, because it's a really, really useful tool. And importantly, it's free. So what Google Analytics does is it helps present in a really nice, easy way information on how many people are visiting your website, where they're coming from, which pages on your website they're spending time on, which search terms they're using to find your website, and much, much more. You can, you know, really kind of drill down into quite granular detail, you know, even kind of as far as what time of day people are visiting, how exactly what length of time they're spending on your site. But by knowing all these things, for example, you know, simple things like by knowing which pages people are spending time on your website, and which search terms they're using to find your website, you can use those to help guide where you will concentrate your efforts in terms of the work that you do on your website and as part of your those little bits that you're doing to try and improve your SEO. So if Google Analytics is telling you that lots of people are spending time on a particular page, then maybe, you know, you can, first of all, I would make sure that that page has a nice clear call to action on it with that book now button, or whatever call to action it might be that you want, the kind of main objective that you want from people visiting your site, whether it's you know, your phone number to call you or that book now button. I would make sure that that call to action is included on that web page. But also Google Analytics is telling you, again, the search terms that people are using to find your website. So you can, some of them, you know, won't be a surprise to you, but some of them might be. So if the search terms people that are using to visit your site and to find your site that you hadn't maybe thought of, then I would definitely create content around that, you know, to try and kind of capture more of those people that Google Analytics is telling you are visiting your site. And also it tells you simple things like the destination that people visiting your site are coming from. So if you can see that they're all, you know, your customers, your visitors to your website are all coming from, or lots of them coming from one place, then that will tell you that you should be doing other marketing activities in that location. So it will help kind of guide other marketing outside of your website as well. And if you haven't already set it up, I've included here, it's really easy, 5 steps to setting up your Google Analytics account. So you can go ahead and do that. You'll all get a copy of this afterwards. And Google offers lots of free courses as well. You know, Google Analytics for beginners. It's a nice, quick, free, easy course just to show you the basics as well. But as I say, it is a really kind of user-friendly, intuitive platform now. It's designed for everyone and anyone who has their own business to use and make use of. So I highly recommend you set that up and have a play. And actually at that point,
sorry, Tom, before you go into social media, I see one question here on the SEO. Oh, how would you rate analytic platforms like Hootsuite?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, lots of platforms like Hootsuite, which is actually, Hootsuite's probably more a social media content sharing platform, but it has its own analytics built in. You know, and lots of, it's a really good question. Lots of other websites, for example, where you host your website, they will have their own analytics platforms as well. But what I would say is that none of them will be as accurate as Google Analytics. I mean, there's always a little bit of kind of discrepancy between the two, but really Google Analytics is kind of the primary one that I would recommend you're using. That's not to say that the others aren't useful, but they won't capture as much. There, you know, other analytics platforms, for example, Hootsuite that you mentioned, will be missing some of the traffic coming into your website. It won't be capturing all of it. And the simple reason being, Google is it's the world's most popular and most widely used search engine, and it's, yeah, they capture more of those web visitors and kind of hold more of that data than any other analytics platform. So other ones are useful and, you know, good to have, but I'd recommend making this your primary platform for analytics.
And we don't get into this in this presentation, but with Google, you can also create free tracking links that you can attach to various campaigns or social. So you can also create tracking codes within Google. And I know that's getting a bit technical, but if you Google the phrase Google tracking codes, it's so simple to add an extension onto a link that you might post on social media, for example, and Google will track that in Google Analytics and tell you how that social media post or link has performed. For example, if you add a link to a tourism board website, you can provide them with that tracking link and it will tell you how that campaign has performed. Again, very, very simple to do. It's just adding a few extra words and extensions onto a link in order to create those tracking codes.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Seeing a follow-up, but for whomever posted that question, if you have any follow-up, feel free to post it in the Q&A.
Yes, please do. Okay, so moving on to our third topic, which is social media. Now, that's one of our specialties here at Voyage Travel Marketing. So we are real advocates of the great importance and power of social media. And done correctly, it's much more than, you know, a brand awareness platform. It really can be one of the key, what we call kind of conversion channels for your business. So one of the phrases we use is social media now is much more than a pretty picture. Whereas, you know, a few years ago, social media might have been more about posting nice images to create that nice brand awareness. It really is now an effective channel for referring traffic into whether it's into your website, or even people can book directly with you now via social media. It really is an essential part of that marketing mix for your business to help create as many bookings and as much business as possible for you. So the two key social media platforms, in our opinion, are Facebook and Instagram. If you were only to have two, these are the two that we would recommend. They do have some differences that we'll cover here. So Facebook is great for channeling visitors into your website. Posts on here should be a little bit more informative, present all your latest offers, product and information, and you should always have a clear call to action. And Facebook does actually allow you to have, you know, a book now button direct on your Facebook page. You don't need to post too often. We recommend a couple of posts per month is absolutely fine. And it's the platform really where any important information, so any kind of new offer or an important update in your opening hours or any key business information, Facebook is the first port of call where we recommend you should post that information. So Instagram, a little differently, is a much better platform for posting engaging and brand awareness building content. So it is still an important kind of channel for sending that traffic through to your website, but it is a little bit more of a kind of aesthetic social platform. So you're obviously posting nice imagery, and we recommend that you try and post more regularly, at least every few days, and try and keep the content a little bit more light and fun, and not necessarily quite so sales focused as you might do with the post on Facebook. So some of the best content that we recommend, some of the most effective that you can post, are authentic images of real customers enjoying your attraction or your business. So trying to capture that UGC, that user generated content that we mentioned earlier, is a great one. And remember with both of these to try and stay on brand with all of the content that you post. And I'll cover each of those platforms a bit more in detail in terms of the content that you post. So we recommend a three-pronged approach to your social media strategy. The first is to try and post what we call compelling content. So the way that we recommend doing it is to schedule posts for the month ahead. So try and plan in advance, you know, those two or three posts per month. Try and plan and know the ones that you're going to be sending out the following month. And the focus is really on the quality of the post, not the quantity. It's not about, you know, posting every 5 minutes just for the sake of it. A little bit, you know, your followers, people do now get a bit bored and frustrated if they feel like they're being bombarded with content that isn't, you know, that they don't find engaging or useful or that they enjoy looking at. So try and schedule them, take the time to create a nice looking post and work ahead for the month that's following. And you can also obviously filter into that last minute post, because we appreciate every business will have things that pop up in the month that you may not have been aware of when you were planning for the month ahead. But we do recommend with social to try and plan your content for the month ahead. The second essential element to remember is to try and manage what we call community management. So that's responding to all the comments, queries that you might get on any of your social media channels. So lots of people now will first of all either maybe send you a message direct via social media, or they'll certainly comment on posts that you make. If you launch a sale or announce a new product, lots of people will comment, often with a question, and it's really important that you actively respond to those comments that are coming in on your social platform. You can't just post and then kind of hide away. You need to be actively engaging and responding to those comments. It'll help build trust with your business, but also you're helping answer questions that people have, because lots of other people will see those responses, and that will help, like with the website, that will help give them the confidence to go ahead and get in touch or book with you. And another thing that we do recommend is to consider paid activity on social media channels, Facebook and Instagram. Now, posting is important, as we've mentioned, but posts now are only viewed by a relatively small number of your followers. The more that Facebook and Instagram have evolved, it's becoming much more of a kind of what we call a pay-to-play platform. And if you want your posts to really be seen, certainly by all of your followers, and then by an extended audience beyond that, then it is really worth putting some budget behind either boosting that post or creating an ad, which is really easy to do on both Facebook and Instagram. And you can really get really, you know, quite specific and targeted with who you are pushing that content in front of. So as well as ensuring that all of your followers see that post that you've boosted, you can also target to make sure that that post is put in front of a highly targeted audience. So you can target based on geolocation, age, interest, behavior. You know, if people have shown behavioral intent, that have shown they're interested in visiting your destination, you can pay to target and push your content in front of that audience. That really is the kind of the power of Facebook and Instagram, and it's worth taking advantage of. And it can start from as little as $1 a day to boost your content. So we do recommend considering that, especially if it's an important post. For example, if you've launched a new product or you've got a sale that's starting, then it's really worth putting a little bit of budget behind that post to make sure as many people see it as possible, because you've gone to the effort of creating the campaign and also creating the post. So you want to get it seen by as many people as possible. And here we've got some tips on how to create compelling content. So key one, obviously, is the image. But this one often goes, maybe lots of people don't think about, but consider that most social media now is viewed on mobile. So we recommend that your post should use a vertical image, or at the very least a square image. We always recommend vertical or portrait, because that maximizes the scroll time. If you imagine yourself when you're scrolling through the content on your Facebook feed, those long, tall, portrait-shaped images, they take longer to scroll through. So you're capturing more attention of the user that's scrolling through their content. Lots of people now, you know, will scroll quickly through content. So if you've got that portrait-shaped image, you'll be capturing a little bit more of the attention of the user than you would be if it was a little short square image. So that's a really simple trick that you can try and remember. Always and only post those longer vertical images if possible. Also, obviously, the written caption beneath. So try and keep it short. Remember, the content is there to support the image, not the other way around. So it should be image first and a short, concise little caption to support that image. And consider trying to perhaps include a question in there or something that might encourage engagement. That you might notice lots of brands include a question in the caption with their post, because what that does is it then generates a conversation, and then it increases the reach of and the visibility of that post, and that's all for free, because people will be, as soon as someone comments on it, it will then be visible to their followers. Other people may chime in and kind of share their opinion. So it's a great way, if you perhaps ask a little question, then that can help increase the visibility of your posts. And also importantly, try and consider the platform. So we tend to say that social media isn't a one size fits all. One post that may work well on Facebook may not work as well on Instagram or any other social platform. So try and consider the content and the audience, and different features have different effects. So for example, in Instagram stories that we'll come to in a little bit more detail later, they are much more shareable. They have a higher level of shares amongst the users on Instagram. So they're an effective way of spreading your reach beyond your followers. So again, we would always recommend, if you've got any important news, for example, a sale launching or an exciting new product or an exciting new tour or something like that, then as well as the post, we'd recommend posting a Instagram story, because they're really shareable, and that's another way of helping to extend the reach and increase the visibility of the content that you're posting. Because again, you've gone to the work of creating that great new tour, and you've created the post, and it's all about just trying to make that content work as hard for you and reach as many people as possible. I'm not going to go through these, but just here I've included how to set up a Facebook business page if you don't already have one. I think most of you will do, but I've included this here in case you don't. Highly recommend you have one. If you don't, it's a free shop window, and can help be really one of the most important traffic referrers to your website. And again, people can get in touch and book with you directly. So strongly recommend you create a Facebook page if you don't already have one. And there's an easy 5-step guide here for how to set one up in just a few seconds or a few minutes, perhaps. What I will go through here, though, are some quick tips on how to really make the most of your Facebook page. So might seem simple, but the first thing you can do is invite your friends to like your page. Again, as soon as they do that, their friends and followers will see that they've done that, and you're kind of increasing the visibility of your page. Similarly, go ahead and like other local businesses in your area. They'll get that notification, and it's likely that they in turn will like your page back. And again, that means their followers will see that they've liked your page, and you're basically opening yourself up to all of their followers as well. it's a great way of kind of piggybacking and effectively kind of making yourself known to the followers of other local businesses. And it's a great way of, you know, working together, supporting other local businesses. You know, the more visitors that are coming to the area, the better. So it's a nice kind of way of collaborating with other local businesses. Another really important, obvious one that sometimes gets missed is encouraging your existing customers to like your page. So, you know, anyone coming to your attraction or your business, you'll see it, you know, we recommend have something on site in your business that tells people to like your Facebook page. You can ask them to do it and tie it in with asking them to leave you a review. Facebook is a really important review platform now as well. The kind of 3 key ones, and I'll cover reviews actually later in this presentation: TripAdvisor, Google, and Facebook. But we do recommend try and encourage as many reviews on Facebook as possible. And as mentioned before, be sure to always respond promptly to any comments, queries, any engagement. Make sure that you respond as quickly as possible. It really reflects well on your business. If people visiting your Facebook page can see that you've responded promptly with helpful you know, answers to the different comments and queries on your Facebook page, then they'll trust you as a business, and they'll have the confidence to go ahead and book and come and visit your business. And a simple, obvious one here: make sure that your Facebook profile is correctly linked to from your website. So make sure you have a, you know, a little find us on Facebook, or even just the Facebook logo on your website. Often people have it in the footer down at the bottom, or perhaps in the header right up at the top, and make sure it's correctly linked. I have seen a few examples of people with, or businesses that have a website built with, for example, Squarespace or Wix. And if you just add the social icons to your website, then they will actually link through to the Facebook page for Squarespace or Wix. And I did you know, have a look at a few of your websites before this, and that was the case for a couple. So just check on your website to make sure that the social links are working correctly and that they're linking correctly to your Facebook page, and update them if they're not, because that's it's really important. I've included in here a slide for how to set up an Instagram page for your business if you don't already have one. I won't go through it, but again, it's very easy, 5 steps. So we strongly recommend you go ahead and do that if you haven't already. But I will go through some of the tricks or tips that we recommend for your Instagram page once it's set up. So as mentioned before, try and post regularly, keep the content light and fun and engaging. This one here, a little bit, you know, Instagram's a little unique in this, is that when you post, try and consider, as well as considering how the post will appear in isolation on your followers' feed, try and consider how it will appear as part of the collection of images on what we call your Instagram grid. So you can see here in the image example, any post that you put out on Instagram, it is also automatically displayed on your Instagram grid. And it's nice to try and make sure that they complement each other, and so that it feels kind of, you know, curated and designed, and the colors complement each other with the posts that they sit alongside next to. We strongly recommend you try and post as many reels as possible. Reels are the name that Instagram gives to effectively video posts. But the reason that we recommend posting them is that Instagram prioritizes these in its algorithm. So essentially it means more people will see your post if it's a reel than if it were just a static image. Obviously, it's a little more kind of difficult perhaps to shoot video for reels than it is to get a static image. But again, you know, try and make use of the user-generated content that we spoke about earlier. So have a look. It's likely that people are already tagging your business in content that they're posting themselves and posting on their own personal Instagram profiles. So have a look to see if you might have been tagged, and then you can get in contact with that individual, because you should always ask for permission. But it's 99% of the time, people are always happy for you to reshare content, and then that's free, easy content for you to post. And as well as posting reels, we really recommend you try and post stories. So these are a really creative, engaging way to highlight any kind of important or latest news or information. They appear at the top of your followers' feed. They're the little circles that people can scroll from left to right through. And they have that little bit more sense of urgency because stories are only available for 24 hours unless they're saved as a highlight. That's the next little point. But yeah, stories you may have seen if you use Instagram, they pop up, they're there for just 24 hours and then they disappear. So people do love to share them around quickly, and they do get a really great engagement and lots of shares because they do have that kind of sense of urgency. But try and make your stories a little bit more fun and engaging, a bit more creative than just a regular post on your grid. And as mentioned there, one way that you can save your stories so that they're always available for people to find is by creating highlights on your Instagram profile. So highlights are the little icons that you can see here in the image example. So on that Visit Jamaica profile, you can see the little pink icons that they have there. You can create those and give each one a different topic name. The icon you would need to add yourself, but there are free tools that you can use to create that. And I've included here a link, a really great platform you can use, which is Canva. It's a free platform. It's got loads of icons already made. You can change the colors. You can select that it's the correct shape and size to upload to Instagram. It's kind of done it all for you nice and easily. So you can create those icons, and then they're a great way of saving stories and saving content into little kind of folders with topic names. So anyone visiting your Instagram profile page, they can have a little jump in and have a look at some of your content to get a better understanding of your business and learn more about you in a really kind of creative way. And actually, another useful little tool here that I've shared is there's a great free tool called Linktree. So and the way that you can make use of this is in Instagram, as part of your profile, you're able to include a little, what it calls its little bio or biography. It's basically the little description, 1 to 2 sentence description that you can include so that people know, you know, what it is that your business offers. You can include a link in that bio. And what Linktree allows you to do is Linktree, basically you can set up your own, and it's free again, you can set up a Linktree page, and then that lists as many different links as you want. So what you can do is have one link in your Instagram bio through to your Linktree page, and then on your Linktree page you can link off to as many different links as you want to. So, you know, you could have a link to your special offers page, you could have a link to your booking page, to a link to your blog. It's a really effective way of kind of turning that single link in your Instagram bio into a kind of allowing the user to branch off into multiple different places. So that's social media. Does anyone have any questions on this topic?
It says Facebook is anecdotally becoming a space for the more mature audience. How do you respond?
Facebook is becoming anecdotally more of a mature audience.
Yeah, space for the more mature audience.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that to some extent. I think more and more mature people are using Facebook. That's absolutely for sure. But it still has a huge usership of younger generations. I think it's just that older generations have joined the platform now as well. But you can target people of all different age groups on Facebook. So it is a kind of great multi-generational platform. But I agree that the younger generations will use Facebook and also other alternative social platforms as well, like Instagram and TikTok.
And it also depends on who your target audience is. So if it is a younger demographic, definitely Instagram is more prominent. If it is an older demographic, yes, Facebook. But as we said earlier, we do recommend both of those platforms regardless.
Right. And I imagine your business, it depends, as you said, Tom, it depends on who your business is targeting. So if it's the older generation, and then Facebook would make sense. We have two other questions. One is that, do you think people are still viewing highlights in 2022?
Yes, we do find that customers are still viewing highlights. You also have to keep in mind that highlights are used to promote things like Reels, or if you have a new post. So for example, if you post a great piece of content that you think will go viral, you can also click the share button and share it to highlights for added exposure. Or if you create an Instagram Reel, same, you can click share to your share to your stories and then highlight it to your page. So we recommend using highlights to, as Tom mentioned, categorize those themes within your content. But yes, we do find from our clients that they are still viewing highlights and stories as well.
Thank you, Jessica. And yes, there's another question that asks, what about TikTok? Yes,
again, this goes back to your two things, really. Who your target audience is. If it is a younger demographic, then absolutely. If you have the time, we do recommend TikTok as well. For the purpose of this presentation, we wanted to highlight the basics of social media, and the must-haves are Instagram and Facebook. But if you do reach a younger demographic, definitely TikTok is one. If you have great video content, absolutely take the time for TikTok as well. I'm going to highlight a few other tips, and one of those is also focusing on video, which is trending music reels. We won't have the time today to go into as much detail, but Google the phrase, how to create a trending music reel on Instagram. These are so popular right now. And even if you don't have video content, but you have great images of your business that you've taken on an iPhone, you can create a trending music reel on Instagram, share it on TikTok as well. And these are much more viral at the moment. They're very, very popular. And there are loads of templates that you can use to create these trending music reels. As you're scrolling through Instagram and you come across a reel that says use template, you can click on that phrase, use template, and add your own images. It's a very quick and easy way to create very professional looking videos and reels that can be shared on Instagram and TikTok. So that's one major tip there for video as well. Any other questions?
Great, thanks. No, I'm not seeing any others now.
Okay, I just wanted to share a couple of other really important notes. Social media is so important here because it is a free resource for you. Tom highlighted canva.com. I really want to stress the importance of taking some time to learn how to use canva.com. It's a free website and it has so many tools that you would need to create stories on Instagram, in addition to other social media posts, as well as marketing content. We use it in our business as a marketing agency, but it's available for small businesses as well to use for free. So I strongly encourage you to take a look at Canva. There's also a significant amount of free content. So for example, you can use free destination images of Jamaica. You can use free destination videos of Jamaica to create your own social media posts. So I strongly recommend using Canva and how to leverage some of that free content. Also, Google the phrase, how to create compelling photography on your iPhone. Again, on social media, this is so important. And video is really key right now. So if you're able to create video on your iPhone that you can use in these trending music reels or other general social media posts or Instagram stories, we very strongly recommend that because video content is much more prominent on social media now than your still imagery is.
Okay. Were there any more questions on social media?
If you don't have an iPhone, I think that's a follow-on to what Jessica just said about videos.
If you don't have an iPhone, if you have someone within your business that has one, it doesn't have to be an iPhone. Any smartphone will capture the type. Yeah, it will capture the type of content that you need in the photography. So any smartphone will do and will allow you to capture the video and imagery that you'll need to create compelling content for social media.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
No more questions yet.
Okay. So our next topic is third-party websites. Now, and this is, it's important to consider that most travelers will decide on the destination that they're visiting. That'll be the first thing that they do. So they will know in advance, I'd like to visit Jamaica. And then what they will do is they will visit the leading review websites, for example, TripAdvisor being the most popular, and also they will view or visit what are known as online travel agents or OTAs. So they're the big kind of hotel and experience comparison websites. So some of the big examples, booking.com, expedia.com, and they will visit these websites before they go ahead and book, and also again after they've booked, before they make their visit. So it's really important that you make use of these, what we call third-party websites that have huge followers, huge number of people visiting them each day and each month. So third-party websites, we say you can reach a huge audience of people planning to visit your destination. And that's the really important thing to consider here. It's a targeted form of digital marketing because you're putting yourself in front of people who are searching because they know they want to visit your destination. So the first thing that you should be doing is making sure that you have registered your business listing on the most important third-party websites. So the first one that we really, really strongly recommend is TripAdvisor. Now, if you haven't already registered your business on TripAdvisor, there's actually a good chance that your business might exist on there without you having created it, because people can actually leave a review for a business that hasn't been properly registered on there yet. They can just, they're basically an unclaimed listing for a business. So it could be, if you haven't registered your business on TripAdvisor yet already, that you can go on TripAdvisor and actually find your business and then claim ownership of and register it. And it's a really simple process. TripAdvisor would just send you something to make so that you have to verify to show that you're the owner of that business. But that's in the first instance, make sure that you've registered your business on TripAdvisor, on Google My Business that we mentioned earlier, and also on any tourist board websites. So the national one, Visit Jamaica, but also any more local regional tourism board website, anywhere where you can register your business, make sure you go ahead and do that. And also find where else your business may be listed. So the simple way of doing this is just enter your business name into Google, see anywhere that you might appear, and make sure in any listings, because there are lots of kind of little more local regional listings that exist, make sure that your business information is all up to date, all the links are correct, and because you don't, there's a strong likelihood that your business will be listed in places that you're not aware of, and some of that information on there may not be correct. And I've included here, I won't go through it all, but it's a simple 4-step process to register and set up your Google My Business listing if you haven't already. It's really easy. And as mentioned before, having one and encouraging reviews there will contribute towards your SEO. So you'll all get a copy of this presentation afterwards. If you don't already, or if you haven't already registered your Google My Business listing, we really strongly recommend that you go ahead and do that. It's super easy, 4 steps, and you're done. So TripAdvisor, as we mentioned, the world's most popular travel website, is incredible. Over 75% of hotel and travel bookers visit TripAdvisor as part of their booking journey. So it's incredibly important that your business is on there and that you've registered and claimed your business listing. And actually that's the link that you want there. You go to tripadvisor.com/owners. If your business is already listed but you haven't claimed it, you'll be able to find it and claim it. If it's not there at all, then you'll be able to create it, which is equally super easy, very quick. But either way, if you're creating it or if you're claiming it, make sure that all of the information on your profile is up to date, correct, and that it's looking as great as possible, because a little bit like Facebook, this is another shop window for your business. So you need to make sure your profile is up to date and as enticing as possible. Make sure it's got all your best and most recent images uploaded. Make sure you have a nice and compelling description to make it easy for people to understand what it is that you offer. Make sure all your kind of essential business information is up to date and accurate, your opening hours, obviously your location, so it's nice and easy for them to find you. And one thing that you may not be aware of is that TripAdvisor actually has a number of sub-brands beneath it. So when you claim or register your business on TripAdvisor, you won't just be creating a listing on TripAdvisor itself, you'll actually be creating one on all of its sub-brand websites. So you're kind of, doing lots of, getting your business in lots of different places and in front of lots of different people with just one little piece of work that's super easy to do. And one of the most popular sub-brands of TripAdvisor is Viator, which is their travel experience platform. So lots of you, that might be attractions and experiences. Viator is one of the world's biggest platforms for people searching for travel experiences. And by creating and updating your listing on TripAdvisor, that is then reflected onto Viator as well. Another really important thing on TripAdvisor is to, and we've mentioned this with Google and Facebook, is encourage as many reviews as possible. So anyone who visits your business and you can tell they're having a positive experience, you know, on their way out, they'll be telling you what a great time they've had, how much they've loved it. That's the time to ask them, you know, thank you so much. Please remember to leave a review on TripAdvisor. And I mentioned earlier, there's loads of free kind of tools that TripAdvisor offers in that owners section, including little cards that you can share, links that you can include in any emails that you might send to customers after their visit, to make it as easy for those customers to leave a review as possible. Reviews are really important on TripAdvisor, and a little bit like Google, TripAdvisor has its own ranking system. And the more reviews that you get and the more positive reviews that you get, the higher up that ranking you will list. Also on reviews, remember, and it's really important, to respond promptly to any reviews, positive and negative. If anything, it's more important to be responding to any negative review that you might get on TripAdvisor. The worst thing that you can do if you do happen to get a negative review, and you know, it's all businesses may get one from time to time. It's essential that you respond to that review, you know, to explain the situation, apologize if it's needed, because what that does is anyone else that's seeing that review, you know, it gives them they can see and see that you've acknowledged their comment. They can see if you might have done something to try and improve whatever it was that that particular customer wasn't completely happy with. It shows that you care as a business, and they will then have that trust and that confidence to still come and book with you. And there's actually quite a lot of stats that TripAdvisor shows that people do actually respond almost positively if they see a negative review, but one that's been responded to in a nice way. It's always important to be professional, you know, never ever lose your temper in a response to a negative review. But yeah, there's lots of research out there that shows people don't mind seeing a negative review as long as it's been responded to appropriately. And positive reviews, you know, you should be responding to as many of them as possible as well. You know, thank the person for taking the time to leave their nice review, and, you know, say how much it means to you. And you can also use your responses as an opportunity to maybe give a little plug to any latest offer or latest, you know, development that you might want to tell people about. People will be reading the responses to your, the responses that you give. So you can say things like, you know, thank you so much for your lovely review. You know, we recently opened our new outdoor patio area. We're really proud of it. We're glad you loved it. It's open every day of the week, that type of thing. You can subtly include any kind of promotional information as part of your responses. Yeah, really, really important thing to try and encourage as many reviews as possible and to respond to them. And the last point there is always try and kind of maintain that brand identity. So I mentioned already, you know, always important to be absolutely professional as part of all your responses, but try and keep that brand tone of voice and try and keep it consistent. And also importantly, try and write you know, a real response to each review rather than copy and pasting you know, a kind of pre-written response. If people are seeing the same pre-written response copied and pasted onto every review that you're given, they can tell immediately that it's that's what you've done, you know, and it looks a little bit insincere. So I appreciate it's an extra thing to kind of factor into your, busy day to day. But if you can take a little time, maybe one day each week to respond to all the reviews that you've had that week, then it's a great habit to get into, and it can have really positive outcomes for your business. I used to help look after some hotels, and there was a direct correlation between the reviews that they got on TripAdvisor and the business that they got, the bookings that they got that came through TripAdvisor. They used to prioritize it as one of the most important things that they did. Another thing to consider on TripAdvisor is the paid opportunities. So there's lots of opportunities on there. One that we do recommend is a premium listing. So that comes with lots of kind of added functionality. You can post special offers. You can pin your favorite photos, pin your favorite reviews. It's a great little kind of way of making your listing stand out a little bit from your competitors who don't perhaps have that business advantage package. And TripAdvisor also offers lots of targeted display ad opportunities. Obviously, they hold data on all the different people visiting their site. So you can pay, if you've got a new exciting campaign that you want to put out there, you can pay to put that in front of a highly targeted audience, people who are searching for businesses of your kind in your area. All those opportunities are available to you on TripAdvisor. Also, try and create and nurture that relationship with your tourist boards. So have a look on Visit Jamaica, but also have a look on if there's any more local regional tourist board website. Try and make sure that and see if your business is listed everywhere it should be. If it isn't, then it's always worth being proactive. Get in touch. Say, hey, introduce your business. Ask if you might be able to be included as part of a list of things to do in the area that you're in. Anywhere that you think you could and should be listed, it's always worth being proactive and trying to make sure you're included. I do think you might have to be registered in order to be listed with visitjamaica.com, but it's certainly worth looking into that. Here, don't forget the OTAs. So booking.com, expedia.com that I mentioned. Now, it's really important having a listing with these businesses, not just for the direct bookings that they might bring to you. Not just for the bookings that they might bring to you via their own platform. Because actually having a listing on these OTA websites can also help work towards generating direct bookings for your business. And I'll explain why. Now, setting up a listing on any of the OTAs is free. It's really easy. You just input your business information, upload your images. Where they charge you is with a commission on any bookings that are made via their platform. I'm sure lots of you are familiar. And that commission charge is in the region generally of 15 to 20%. Obviously, we all want to try and generate as many direct bookings as possible because we don't pay that commission charge on them. But by having your business in this shop window of booking.com can actually work towards increasing your direct bookings, because lots of travel shoppers now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, will go to booking.com, expedia.com to basically kind of compare and research and look at all the different experiences in an area, all the different accommodations in an area. And lots of travelers are savvy now in that they know there's a good chance they might get a better deal by booking direct. So they'll find you on booking.com, but then they'll find your website and book direct, because most people now are aware that there's a commission involved with OTAs. So they know that they might get a better deal by coming direct. So it's, even if your main objective is going for as many direct bookings as possible, which it should be, having your listing on any of these OTAs is still really important, because it's the biggest shop window out there. They get millions of visitors, you know, every month. So it's really important that you have that presence on there. And I've mentioned here, try and make sure that your profile score is as close to 100% as possible. So all of the OTAs will score your profile according to how many images you've got on there, how recently you've updated your business information, and the higher your score, the higher it will push you up their rankings. And I've listed here some of the different kind of sub brands and of OTAs that are out there, because lots of people think that OTAs, and originally they started out as being just for accommodation providers, but that's not the case anymore. All of these on the screen here cater specifically for travel experiences as well. So don't think that just because you might not be a hotel or accommodation that you don't need to be on listed on OTAs, because you should be. And that's third-party websites. Yeah, Jessica's got something to add here as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in closing on this section, having limited resources at your business, you may think, do I need this website? Do I need Facebook? Do I need TripAdvisor? Do I need all of these things? Don't forget what Tom mentioned earlier, that all of these websites point to your website in most instances and bring you additional traffic to your own site to hopefully generate that direct booking. Many of them also help with your search engine optimization, again, providing that inbound link to your website. So yes, they are all very important, and we do recommend these third-party websites.
And are there any questions on this topic? Yeah,
We've got a few. So the first one is TripAdvisor for travel agencies as well, or is it for travel experiences only?
it's a good question. I think you do need to be a kind of customer facing business. So I don't know if a travel agency, if you're a travel agency that's offering lots of, you know, kind of connecting people with other businesses, I don't think it's the platform for you. No, it is just for the provider, the experience provider, or the accommodation provider, or the, you know, food and beverage restaurant or bar.
I guess as a follow-on from that, I could ask, are there any sites that would cater to travel agencies?
That's a good question. Yeah, we'll have a look into that and follow up on that, because that's a good question. Yeah, I'll follow up on that.
Okay. Another question here, do you recommend responding in the space or directly to the customer where there is, for example, a negative review?
Yes, absolutely. So as in, if you, any negative,
so they're asking, they're asking if they should respond in that same space that the customer posted or directly to the customer?
In the space that the customer gave the review. So you want to do it publicly. It might be that you should always respond publicly with a kind of, you know, a short, you know, kind of concise response, because obviously that will be publicly visible. You might want, if it's, you know, depending on what the negative review is, you might want to take the conversation, you know, away from the platform. You shouldn't be kind of going into a back and forth conversation with the customer, but you should definitely respond in that public place, whether it's TripAdvisor or Facebook or wherever it might be. You should definitely respond there. But if it's something that needs to be followed up on, and often it will be, you know, you might say, you know, please, you know, we'd like to get in contact with you directly to kind of help resolve this with you. Then you kind of continue the conversation directly with that customer. And actually, it looks really good if you show, as part of your public response, that you do want to take it further and speak directly with the customer to help resolve it.
Great, thanks. And there are a few questions on the chat. How do I get the link for my business? I think that's referring to the TripAdvisor link.
Yeah, so if you just go to tripadvisor.com/owners, and then you just simply enter the name of your business in there, the name and location. If it's already listed there, it'll pop up immediately. And if it's not, it won't. So it will invite you to create one if it's not already there.
And I think the same person had another question. I'm a self-employed language guide. How do I advertise myself on these platforms?
Yeah, so is that almost like a language kind of providing tours?
Like, I think like a tour guide, a language.
Yeah, tour guides absolutely can be on TripAdvisor. You'll find lots of them already on there. So yeah, absolutely, definitely. TripAdvisor is a great place for tour guides to list their services.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Maureen. There's one other question. Where would you place the incentive for booking directly with us?
That's a great question. Is that with regard to?
I'm assuming in regard to the third-party websites and listing on them, and then encouraging direct bookings.
Jessica will get this. Yeah.
So what we often recommend is offering a best rate guarantee on your website. So customers know that if they book direct with you, then they get the better deal. You can promote that on social media, on your website, and all of your marketing channels. If you are on booking.com, they won't let you promote it there because obviously they want people to book on booking.com. But on your website, you could say there that you have a best rate guarantee. So if you are an attraction selling tickets on the OTAs or an accommodation provider, for example, it is a great suggestion to add that best rate guarantee. So book direct and save is a good message to put out there.
And actually just kind of further to that, as well as guaranteeing the best rate, because, and Jess is absolutely right, the OTAs, you couldn't ever say that, advertise the book direct on their platform. But what you'll see lots of people do is offer an incentive that isn't necessarily financial as part of the benefit of booking direct. So that might be a free drink or something, so the price is still the same as with the OTA, but by booking direct, you get that best price guarantee and a free gift, on the way out, or a free drink on arrival. Lots of places you can offer that incentive that isn't the price, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Tom. I'm not seeing any more questions yet.
Okay. So we're on to the last topic now, which is virtual experiences. So this one, may not be necessarily for everyone, but it's one to think about. And it's given the title virtual experiences, but I kind of refer to it as virtual events and experiences. And it can be a great way to engage with your existing customers, but also obviously an exciting, innovative way of reaching a whole new potential audience and creating a new potential revenue stream for your business. So I'm going to go into a way that you can perhaps try out with hosting your own virtual events and experiences as a kind of an extra string to your bow. So here we are: innovate and reach a new audience with virtual events and experiences. So which platform is best? Now, there's obviously lots of different platforms out there, and there are lots of different styles of virtual or online event or experience. So you've got, everything from kind of online conferences to live streams, or there are even kind of hybrid online in-person events. But the ones that we would recommend for tourism, hospitality experiences that are nice and easy and free to use are Facebook Live video, Instagram Live, and YouTube Live. The main reason being, as I mentioned, they're all free. They're all really user-friendly, nice and easy to use. They all come with ready-made, engaged audiences. Obviously, you know, lots of you will already have Facebook page, Facebook followers, or the same on Instagram. So you can tap in immediately to that audience. None of them require any specialist equipment. All they require is any smartphone or desktop computer. And also, by hosting your virtual event or experience on any of these platforms will also help work towards your social media presence. Obviously, you know, by hosting them here, you'll help grow your following on social media. You'll help increase your engagement on social media. So it's kind of a win-win by hosting them on here as well. And there's a few interesting stats here. So 80% of people would rather watch a live stream than read a blog post. 82% of people would rather watch a live stream than see a social media post. And this one, quite interesting, 67% of people who watched a live stream later went on to buy a ticket or to purchase to attend that experience in real life. So it can help generate those bookings as well. Now, I'm not going to go through the kind of how to use. I've put them here for your reference, but I'll run through the kind of differences between each of these three platforms, some of the key benefits of each of these key platforms. So Facebook Live, obviously you're harnessing the power of Facebook. If you've got a kind of a well-established Facebook page already with followers, then I'd always recommend host it here, because you've already got your followers there. You can send it out to them in the first instance, as well as push it out to a targeted audience. And Facebook Live is free, as I mentioned, really user-friendly, and it's got a few nice benefits. You can test very easily to make sure that it's all looks nice before you go ahead and broadcast publicly. You can obviously easily post the video recording of your virtual event or experience. You can immediately post that to your Facebook page afterwards. And also quite handy, it automatically saves to your smartphone if that's what you've shot it on. And an interesting one here, so Facebook's algorithm actually ranks live video above all other content. So so if you're live streaming your virtual event or experience, then you will be coming up right at the top of all of your followers' feeds. It ranks it higher than any video. And you can extend the reach of your Facebook Live by including hashtags. So you can piggyback on the back of relevant hashtag topics as well. And that's in the kind of bullet points of how to set it up there. Instagram is a little bit more, maybe if you're doing a kind of short, snappy, fun, quick virtual experience or event, if you were kind of doing, something there was a bit more of a quick run around. It's got lots of fun little different bits of functionality. You can switch between selfie and regular camera mode. You can share photos and videos whilst you're live streaming. You've got the option to add text whilst you're streaming. You can add emojis whilst you're streaming. And similar to Facebook, once your virtual event or experience is finished, then you can immediately share that to your stories or upload it to IGTV as well. and similar to Facebook, it immediately saves it to your camera roll. But I would suggest Facebook is more, maybe if you were to do a quick run round, maybe of 5-minute run round of one of your if you were a tour guide, for example, and you wanted to do a quick mini preview of one of your tours, then this would be the place. If it was a bit more proper, full length, and you wanted to really take people on a virtual tour, then I would probably recommend Facebook for that. And the third alternative that we recommend as well is YouTube Live. So obviously YouTube is the kind of very well established video platform. It's got a vast network of video content enthusiasts. You've got lots of options there when you're broadcasting on YouTube Live to interact with viewers who are watching. And similar to Facebook and Instagram, you can publish the recording of your virtual event or experience direct to your YouTube channel as soon as you're finished. And YouTube does offer, different to Facebook and Instagram, it does have some opportunities to earn income from your videos if they were to go on to receive enough views as well. There are, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend YouTube. It's got a few slight differences in that you would need to set up a YouTube channel if you didn't already have one. And in order to live stream from mobile, then you do have to have a well-established YouTube channel with at least 1,000 subscribers. So unless you're already very active on YouTube, then I probably would avoid this one and go for Facebook or Instagram. But I'm sharing it here because it is, it is kind of the leading platform for video content. So if you were really to kind of go down the route of hosting virtual events and experiences regularly, then you might want to think about creating a YouTube channel and hosting them here. So some advice for hosting a virtual event or experience. So timing is key. Consider your audience and what day and what time of day would be convenient for them. If you plan to host a series of events, then try and make it a consistent day and time so people can build it into their schedule. Make sure you prepare well. So prepare a script, even if it's just bullet points, and the objective should dictate the content of your presentation. So if your aim, for example, is to promote a specific product or experience, then make sure you present all its key benefits and have clear calls to action throughout. So, make sure you repeat how it is people get in touch and book with you if that's the objective you want to achieve, and assign roles for the day. So who's presenting, who's controlling the camera. If you have live chat or any of those extra functionalities that Facebook and Instagram Live both offer, then try and think about who might be controlling those if you're presenting. And there's some tips there as well for the actual kind of shoot itself. Try and keep the audience engaged during your virtual event and experience. So acknowledge them as they arrive. You'll see the different attendees arrive as you go, and try and greet them, show that you appreciate that they're attending, just as you would any live in-person event. Give regular recaps, because remember, lots of people may join after you've already begun. So try and give lots of recaps for any who aren't there at the beginning, and try and build anticipation to keep people there till the end. And I've mentioned already live chat. It's a great way of keeping people engaged as you go, but try and think about who might manage that. You might need support if you're the one doing the presenting. And really, really important is promote it. So just like you would any in-person event or experience, if you want to host a virtual event or experience, then you can't just assume people will turn up and know about it. You need to promote it. So give the event a title, write a nice description. You can create it as a Facebook event or even an Instagram countdown. Send out email invitations. Be sure to promote it on your website and social channels. And in everywhere that you promote it, absolutely always include the date, the time, and the link to the event itself. And you can see quite a nice example here on the right. This is someone who's promoting their event. They're promoting it on Twitter and they're hosting it on YouTube. So you want to be promoting, across all your social platforms to all of your followers, but including that link for the event itself and obviously the date and time. And as well as promoting it in advance, follow it up afterwards. So after your virtual experience or event has finished, be sure to post a link to the recording across all your social platforms so that everyone who missed it can find it. Include details on here about your next event. If you're hosting a series or if you already know when the next one is, it's the best place to promote the next virtual event or experience is on the when you push out your last one. And then also make use of the footage itself, so you can cut snippets to create reels and stories for your social media content, and also obviously use that content to promote the next events as well. And also importantly, debrief afterwards. So try and understand maybe what went well, maybe what didn't, so that you can always be improving. And we'd always recommend, just as with any live in-person experience, with any virtual experience, record the number of attendees each time, the number of engagements, the number of follow-up views to the recording, and try and keep a track of the performance so that you can set yourself goals to obviously always try and be improving, just as you would with any live experience that you host as well. So that's a quick run through of virtual experiences. Does anyone have any questions on that topic?
Is there a way to monetize virtual experiences?
Yes, there is. I mean, so obviously YouTube has the option of monetizing in terms of advertising based on number of views. Also, you can run partner or affiliate partner programs if you were to promote and people book direct via that. Then you can monetize and earn income that way. But I know, so Facebook Live and Instagram Live, it's really about the content. It's not a kind of monetized yet.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing in chat, there's one that says offer promo codes too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always throughout any live, virtual event or experience, you should always be repeating those call to action. So if you're hosting, a virtual guided tour because you want to try and encourage people to book to join the tour, for real, then you should always be repeating those call to actions, how to book, how to get in touch. If you, I would recommend having a special promo code or a special discount code that people can mention when they book. Then absolutely, yes, I'd be repeating that throughout. So that's part of the planning. You need to be sure to include calls to action as part of the presentation.
And someone has added something to say where you pay beforehand to get a unique link to join the event.
So that is available, but it's not necessarily recommended. The research that I have read, you're not going to get many attendees if you make it a paid for experience, especially if it's your first. You know, if you're very well established and have, you know, a kind of loyal following of people who have enjoyed your virtual events and experiences and the content that you put out, then potentially all of those platforms do offer, you are able to make them private, and then you can potentially charge people to join, but it's not recommended.
Okay. So there's one other comment that says there are other platforms that host events like Eventbrite.
So yes, there are others. Eventbrite, I think, is well, sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to say Eventbrite is a great website to create.
Not hearing you, Jessica.
Eventbrite is an excellent site if you wanted to promote the live event that you're doing online and send out a link to that. But it's more so an event planning website rather than a live event tool like we're referring to here.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not seeing any more questions. Oh, wait, one more just popped up. How about Zoom?
Yeah, again, Zoom, you can host multiple people on a Zoom call, but it's not as effective, I would say, in terms of spreading, you know, inviting people to attend in advance. If you think it's much easier to reach people on social media, and there's a likelihood you've already got followers on Facebook or Instagram that you can reach. Zoom, normally, unless you have a paid subscription as well, you're limited to the number of people that can join your call, and also it is much more kind of call based, you know, for rather than hosting a live event or experience. There's no limit. That's an important point, actually. With both Facebook Live and Instagram Live, there's no limit to the number of people that attend. There's no limit to the duration. So Zoom, if any of you have been on a Zoom call that goes longer than 40 minutes, unless you've got a paid subscription, it will cut you off. Yeah, none of those. With Facebook Live and Instagram Live, unlimited number of attendees, and no kind of fixed time duration either.
Okay, I think we'll take this last question too. Would you suggest having the first event on social media, then following events on Zoom with a ticket price?
I think I would say it would be better to be consistent and keep it in one place. You know, you want to make it as easy as possible for people, and a little bit in the same way that I recommend if you were hosting a series, I'd hold it on the same day and same time so that people can build it into their schedule. I wouldn't recommend changing platforms. I would choose the appropriate one and stick with it. Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, no other questions at this time.
Okay, well, if anyone does have any questions, then, you know, please send them through to Coral and Rebecca, and Coral, Rebecca, please share them. We'll get back to all of those. I appreciate, you know, lots of people might have questions, come to them afterwards as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you also, Jessica. I think that was a very interesting and very informative session. It's quite a lot of information to assimilate. Yeah. But just on that, the participants, don't you worry, we're going to be sharing the slides from this presentation. So you can always go back to them if you missed anything today. We're also going to be sending you a link to the Zoom recording for this session. So you'll be able to revisit and watch it over again if there's anything that you missed. So thank you all very much for joining up. I'm really hoping that you found it as informative as I did, and as educational and useful. And we hope that you'll be able to use the information to really improve the marketing and promotions for your businesses. Before you leave,
So
Sorry, Tom.
sorry, Carl. I was just going to say thank you as well. And just to say yes for everyone, it's a lot. I appreciate it's a lot of different things that we've run through, that they're all, you know, if you're able to do a little of them, or, you know, pick the ones that you think might be most valuable to your business. I appreciate everyone is very busy with their day to day, but any little bits that you can do here or there, try and make time, you know, if there's maybe, you know, a Friday afternoon or something, it's the little bits that you can do, they'll all help.
Great, absolutely. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you for joining. Before you log off, we're just going to post a quick a really short poll that we're going to ask you to just provide your feedback to. Just let us know what you thought about the presentation, and help us. The feedback is going to be very useful in planning future webinars. So thank you all. And just take a few minutes to respond to that really short poll that should have launched on your screens a while ago. Once you complete the poll and submit it, feel free to exit the webinar. So thank you all once again. Thanks to our presenters, Tom and Jessica. And thank you everybody for joining us for these last 5 weeks. It's been a really cool roller coaster ride. But we're hoping that you really found the information that have been presented at these webinars useful, and that you really will use those learnings towards improving your businesses going forward. And as Tom said, any questions that comes up after this, on this and any of the other sessions, please feel free to just shoot us a quick email. We'll be happy to answer them. And also, you know, just go back to the recordings and the manuals that were sent to you to help you with that.
Thank you very much, Tom and Jessica. That was really great. Again, really practical, as Coral said. I think lots to go back to, you know, as and when the businesses need to work through those different things. They've got a great resource there to go through. So very much appreciated. Thank you. I'll just keep the poll open for a few more minutes. So please do complete that and have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.